Control LHR, Springbok 232, good morning, established on the localizer 27.
Continue approach, surface wind now 240 degrees.
And continuing Springbok 232.
Rotation, you are clear to land on 27 right, 240 degrees at 18. Unit expedite, first left turn, contact ground on 121.19.
May we have your attention, please? For the United Kingdom and other...
Last year, 70 million passengers arrived in Britain, over 99% of them without any trouble. Heathrow's Terminal 3 is the busiest port and where there are most problems. Is one of 36 chief immigration officers who work here.
Passengers in the hall, can I have some more air control, please? Can I have 2 more on the EC desk, please?
The desks are Britain's frontier. Lothian is part of the team that supervises the 250 immigration officers at the terminal. They have to rely on first impressions, and they're always on the lookout for illegal entrance.
The immigration officers basically land the passengers. It's their power to talk to the passengers to decide whether or not they merit landing, and then to go ahead and land them. If there's a difficulty with them, and if they think that if they need to hold somebody up, is basically what it comes down to. If they need to stop them and sit them down and ask them more questions, then they come and talk to me. The airlines want the passengers flowing through, of course, but most of all, we want the passengers flowing through. You don't want big queues in the hall. It puts pressure on the immigration officers, and as I say, it's bad for business.
Are you resident here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have your old passport with you?
What, old one?
Your old one?
No.
You haven't brought that with you? Because all that shows is when you left.
Yeah.
That's an embarkation stamp.
Yeah. When I left, my daughter was with me and she came back last week, and I think my old passport came back in her.
She's got your old passport?
Yeah.
Is this for business?
Yes.
Which company?
Sony.
How did you qualify?
Qualified for.
Did you marry someone British?
Yeah.
Or, yeah?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
My husband. Hayes.
How long does it take you to get there?
About 20 to 30 minutes from here. Yes.
How long do you stay?
1 week.
Okay. For business with Toyota?
Yeah. Any children?
Yeah, I've got 3.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where do they go to school?
No, one is 25 years old, my son. He just...
Where did they go to school?
Oh, they're in this country,
Yeah.
University, yeah. Two of them been to university in South Bank.
Yeah? Which school in Hayes did they go to?
Hayes, they didn't go to school. When we moved in house in Hayes, they were already in a college and university.
Okay. Is this for business?
Yes.
Yes, which company?
Nissei Sangyo Hitachi Group.
Oh, right, okay.
Because obviously it doesn't actually state in your passport that you're resident here.
But would they like to see any other documents?
What else do you have?
Sunday. Okay. Do you have your ticket? 航空券持っている?切符.
Okay. Do you want to just hang on here 1 second? All right, and I'll just have to refer this and I'll be back. All right.
All right then. Sightseeing. Okay.
I've got a lady on an Indian passport. I've had a chat to her for a few minutes, and she knows, she's from Hayes, she knows the area, knows the schools.
Right.
I think it's okay,
Yeah.
but she's just not travelling with her old passport.
Possible, doesn't it?
Yeah, she sounded okay for me.
I don't think we'll hold her up unnecessarily.
Shall I just open date stamp?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, credibility is what it's all about. Is what the person you're dealing with doing a reasonable thing.
How do you learn that?
Experience. Talking to passengers.
Now, what are you going to do while you're here? What sort of things did you plan to do?
See the country.
Mm-hmm.
Purely as a tourist.
Yeah.
To go to the castles.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend in Scarborough. I don't know if she's still there. I'd like to fly up to Scarborough.
And when I spoke to you before, you said that you might look for some temping work here. You hadn't decided and you hadn't made any plans,
No.
but you thought you might look for some temping work. Can you confirm that?
I can't say what can happen. As I said before, maybe I meet somebody and I'd like to stay here longer, and then I might have to consider it.
So you came to Greece with the idea of just seeing the country, visiting friends?
Staying with my friend, yeah.
Okay.
For a month, 2 months.
Right, and then you worked, you did some paid work.
I had to, all my things are stolen.
Yes, but you didn't make any application for a work permit, you didn't make any application to your parents for some money, you didn't make any application to the South African Embassy. So, I mean, if there's no recourse to funds, are you saying you're going to work here?
No, I can't. I have to go back home.
When did you actually fix up this trip here with your uncle? When did you arrange for you to come here?
It was confirmed 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay.
Behind the desks is a warren of cubicles and offices. Diane is taken to the secure area nicknamed the Pen, where she can be held while Wendy makes further inquiries. From this room, officers phone relatives, employers and other agencies to prove or disprove the stories passengers tell them.
So I landed a seaman today at Terminal 3.
Hello.
He's joined. I just wanted to make sure that he embarked.
Could I have the income support section, please? That is the income support, fine.
Yeah, I had a Guyanese merchant seaman came in this morning from Georgetown. He was a previous Terminal 3 refusal, but I had to land him because he'd been issued with a joining ship visa. I just really wanted to make sure that he goes.
The problem is this guy is an absconder. I have here, which has been collected from his former address, his income support book. What I'm just checking on is whether or not he's come to light claiming again somewhere else.
Behind the scenes, there are 12 glass cubicles for longer interviews. They look innocuous, but every chair is bolted down so that passengers can't use them to attack immigration officers.
You see, I've telephoned your uncle. I telephoned the number that you gave me here. And I got through to the address that you gave me as well. And the gentleman I spoke to wasn't Richard Mons, and he'd never heard of Richard Mons. He said that he'd lived in the flat for 3 months, and you know, he could have been a previous tenant, but he wasn't able to confirm that. Do you have another telephone number for your uncle?
No, I don't. It's the only number I took from my parents.
You said you were in contact with your uncle 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So how did you do that when...
That's the number I phoned, the correct number, not 894.
Yes, but you see, the people living there had lived there for 3 months, and they don't know Richard Mons, and they have nothing to do with him.
Did you not
He doesn't live there anymore.
Were they not boarders? Has borders?
No. What he does, the flat is rented, and these people moved in 3 months ago, and they have been renting it for the last 3 months. Now, they suggested that maybe your uncle had lived there 3 months ago, but if you have been telephoning that number...
2 weeks.
Well, I don't quite understand how you can telephone that number and get through to your uncle.
I don't understand that either.
You can't explain that to me?
No. That was the number that was given.
So you haven't got another telephone number for your uncle? You see, without a sponsor, you don't have enough money to be here for the length of time that you want to stay.
And how much money, the money I have?
Well, £340 isn't going to last you 2 months here, a month around Europe, and buy you a ticket back to Athens in order to get your flight home.
I have to get through to my uncle.
Well, if you can give me the telephone number that you...
That was the number.
Well, I'm afraid that's not where he's living, because I've spoken to the person who's now renting the flat, and I'm afraid he's not living there. Do you have anything to say?
I'm stunned.
Okay. Right.
Oh, it's that room.
Back again, yeah, I'm afraid so.
Are there any other references to the uncle? in the in that diary?
No,
or
there's
in
no
that,
references to anything.
any references
No,
to anybody else in Britain?
There's somebody called Mrs. Tutley, who she said was a friend of somebody she knew in Greece, who's a British lady, but there's not even an address for that.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing.
Seems unusual. You'd have thought there'd be some way to get in touch with the sponsor.
Well, I've asked her,
yeah,
and she's shown me her address book, and there isn't anything in there.
I mean, she's got a limited amount of money. She's got no return ticket. Has she got a return ticket by another country? I mean, has she got the original?
She's got a photo. She has no original.
Yeah.
I mean, I presume she could have cashed it in. I don't know, but she states to me that she's got this photocopy of a return ticket, which takes her from Athens, Cairo, Johannesburg.
Yeah. I mean, any other access to funds? I mean, if she's worked for her family, the implication is that there's, there's money in the family somewhere.
Yes.
Some credit cards, anything like that?
She's got no credit cards.
She's only got a limited amount of money. She's got no return ticket. We know that she's she's worked in another country. That's that's not our affair. But she's nevertheless.
Surely it shows perhaps a predisposition towards doing it. I mean, she told the Greek immigration officer exactly what she's telling me now.
All right. So what's your proposal?
I propose to refuse her.
Right, it would simply be on the basis of not satisfied genuine visitor. There's no other angle to this. But she doesn't have the money. She doesn't have the return ticket. What she's given to us so far, by way of checking her story, doesn't check out, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't.
I mean, my interpretation of that case is that it's a free spirit who's working her way around Europe, and now she's turned up in Britain. I mean, I wouldn't be satisfied that she's a bona fide visitor who's only come here for 2 months. I mean, she doesn't qualify for entry under the rules. I mean, she's 26 years old. She's been working her way around Europe. Now she's turned up here. We treat her the same way as we treat everybody else. The thing is, once we refuse her, we'll probably hear more about it. I would imagine that there are sponsors out there are family, there are friends out there somewhere, and that when the refusal decision is made, we'll get representations on it.
Right, now, I've spoken to the Chief Immigration Officer and to the Inspector, so my boss and my boss's boss, and a decision has been made on your case. And in view of the fact that we cannot contact anybody here who can support you, and you have only £340 and no ticket to leave here, then we have decided that you're going to be refused entry, right? What we've done is make arrangements for you to return to Greece. The flight is tonight at 9 o'clock, okay? So that would take you back to Athens. What has been decided as a special compassionate thing, as you're South African and you may not want to go back to Greece, if you are able to make arrangements within the time periods, i.e. before you have to go on that flight, and this would have to be at your own expense, you can buy a ticket to go back to South Africa with the funds that you have tonight.
I don't want to go back to South Africa now.
Right. Okay.
Can I arrange for a flight to Germany?
Well, I'm afraid I can't. I cannot let you go back to Germany because I cannot be certain that you're acceptable there. Okay.
And if I can get hold of my grandmother?
Your grandmother? Where is your grandmother?
Scarborough.
She's in Scarborough, right. You didn't tell me that your grandmother was here. Do you have the phone number for your grandmother?
No, I have to phone Africa and get hold of the number and make all those arrangements.
Do you know where your grandmother lives?
Nope. All I know is she's in Scarborough.
Does your grandmother know that you're coming?
Nope.
Right. When did you last have dealings with your grandmother? When did you last talk to her?
Ages ago. 10, 12 years ago.
About 12 years ago. Okay, well, if you want to make contact with your grandmother, that's up to you, okay? On the situation, on the things that you have told me, we have refused you entry. Unless you can show us that circumstances have changed dramatically, then this will stand as far as I can see. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Indy.
When they refuse a passenger, they make it very clear on the passport for immigration officers all over the world to see.
Thanks.
The people I spoke to in the South African embassy in Greece told me I shouldn't have a problem. My whole journey has just been bad luck. It was the first time I left South Africa. I've had a terrible time in Greece. I don't want to go back there.
On her way to take the flight to Athens, Diane Joseph Richard Muntz.
About Richard Muntz? Yeah. No, he's not related to me at all. He's just a friend. So I came up with the story that Richard Muntz was my uncle because I was afraid I wouldn't get in. Having Richard only as a friend, I thought family would be a stronghold for me. He arrived in London in May and said if I needed to contact him when I came to London, I should. Did so, but he was not at the address any longer.
And
So
the Granny in Scarborough?
that is true, isn't Scarborough, but I haven't seen her for 10 years.
So
She's not very close to the whole, she's a distant relative, you could say.
Lady, she's going on to Athens. She was an immigration refusal. Okay?
Okay, so
Oh, I
she's
see.
denied
So-
entrance into the country, and we're taking her back.
That's
Okay,
it.
that's your paperwork.
That's it.
Okay.
There we are. There she is.
Okay, well, ciao, adios, amigos. I'll see you again. Thanks a lot, then. That's all right. Bye.
Genève, it's your boarding pass. That's for you. That's for you.
And
Okay, the passport, you get it when we arrive at Athens.
Exactly. I will keep these documents, okay? And so you get enough, I'll signal to
Fine,
you. All right?
fine.
Welcome on board.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, I'm fine. I don't need to receipt. I've had to think about it 5 hours sitting in that little room, and I'm very disappointed. I was hoping to see a bit of London, but I will be back with all the necessary papers and forms.
Right, now if you give to charity, then ring this number because your favourite causes could be missing out unless you get one of these. The charity card, welcomed by charities all over the country. When you pay the money you want to give into a charity card account, the taxman actually adds more. I love it. Then you can use your charity card to make personal donations to absolutely any charity you choose, big or small, by phone or by post. It's a fantastic idea. Make sure your charities get 23% extra. Call the Charities Aid Foundation free on 0800 99 3311. Go on, call now, 0800 99 3311.
Genetics isn't going to be about copies of you, it's going to be about the real you. Reading your DNA will be able to cure some diseases before you know you have them. Just think, in 1959, the Queen sent 400 telegrams to people on their 100th birthday. Last year, it was 3,000. By 2034, it'll be tens of thousands. Maybe I'll get one.
Whatever your opinion of the future, here's a fact. For regular plans, the Equitable Life has amongst the lowest charges of any major UK pension company. So every year, more of your money is invested for the future.
One reason people live longer in the Mediterranean is their diet. Fresh fish, vegetables, and olive oil. Or maybe it's their fans that keep them going. Olivio Spread, made with the oil of age-old olive groves.
When a headache strikes, Nurofen knows how to release you fast and effectively. Not since fluoride toothpaste has there been an advance like Colgate Total. It protects not just against cavities, but also against bacteria that cause plaque, tartar, and gum disease. It's the only toothpaste with an antibacterial shield that protects teeth and gums for 12 hours. Colgate Total, the one with the 12-hour shield.
Yeah, great performance.
Hi.
You were brilliant.
It's Ken Dalglish.
Yeah, well, I thought it was the best I've been all season.
Dad, you don't normally phone players after the match.
Who said anything about the players? I'm ringing up the crowd.
Good news for people making more calls. BT's first ever extra call sale. For 3 months, calls made over your average bill will get a 25% credit.
Only another 34,000 to go.
BT's extra call sale. It's good to talk.
In 1996, 30,074 passengers were refused entry, nearly 5,000 of them here at Terminal 3, usually because they didn't have enough money on them or they seemed likely to work illegally. More Americans are refused than anyone else, but given the number of travellers from different countries, who are most likely to be rejected or delayed, like this Colombian cartoonist.
There was a gent standing over there who actually looked a little bit perplexed, and usually in these circumstances I wander over just to sort of see how things are and if they're being dealt with. And he sort of hit me with a bit of Spanish, you know. I was just trying to, and I was trying to understand this because, I mean, I've got Van Gogh's ear for languages, you know. And whilst I was talking to him, out came his pen, and he started to draw. When he got to the nose, I realised it was me. You'll probably see from the profile, really. And he was trying to persuade me that he was a cartoonist. And I think he's made a fairly good job of that, but the way he makes me feel having seen this, I think we'll have him detained, actually, really, because I've got enough complexes as it is.
Some passengers resort to desperate and dirty tricks.
Just looking at a passport, actually, found down the loo. Pakistani passport. It was been pushed right down the loo, obviously blocked it a bit. But normally they tear them up before it's pushed down the loo. This one, it went down whole. So we've got some details. Don't know if we got a photo yet. No, I don't think we've got a photo. We'll probably find in about 20 minutes or so, we'll have a refugee turning up who's claimed to have lost his document en route somewhere.
Why do they do that?
Well, most of these documents are forged, and they can get through airlines to get on the flight by showing these documents. It's good enough to pass a casual airline inspection, but they know full well that when it gets to an immigration officer that they'll be caught out. And also, if eventually their asylum application fails and they're sent back, we've got no document to send them back with.
Solicitor 836, contact 121.9 in combined.
Our next one that we'd be interested in would be the SK523, which we'd go to see because we have had experiences of passengers coming with no documentation from that part of the world. And it's simply an effort to try to identify where they've come from, and perhaps that helps us get their identity. Because as you can imagine, it's fairly fearful allowing people in without any identification at all, and there are obvious security implications without trying to dramatise it, you know. And that's something which was quite new to us over the last number of years. I mean, if someone arrived without a document, say 10 years ago, it was a fairly serious matter, and you wondered whether it was Carlos walking up, you know, or whatever. I mean, these were the thought processes that went through our minds, you know.
Immigration makes a priority of meeting certain flights from the Third World, like this one from Accra. No passenger who asks for political asylum can be sent back without having their claim considered. Those who don't have documents can be especially difficult to deport if their asylum application fails, as no one can prove where they came from. Ghana Airways had already confiscated suspicious. Catherine was taken to have her luggage searched. That's routine. Every suitcase has its secrets and its goodies.
This far, thank you. Why is it you brought the fish over?
Oh, for my uncle.
Catherine was able to produce an uncle in London, and so she was eventually allowed in as a genuine visitor. Officers were more suspicious about a Lithuanian cosmetics rep who claimed to be coming for a 3-day holiday courtesy of her employers, Baltic Clipper.
Right, if you could take the bottles out.
What's this alcohol?
But she doesn't know anyone here. So why has she bought presents for people?
Well, it's just something from Lithuania.
It's just, but is it for somebody?
Are you kam nors atvežėt tuos dalykus? No, well, maybe she might meet somebody in the hotel that she can...
So she has bought these gifts. Are they gifts?
Tell that I would like to give the other people there a taste of Lithuanian
But
food
she
and
does
drink.
not know anyone in the UK now.
But you Stefan, neturi pažįstamų čia iš viso. No, she doesn't know anybody.
Okay.
Why did you bring bottles of alcohol and
Could I
Lithuanian
use some
gifts with you?
Bonku, alkoholą.
Vaišingumas lietuviškas, aš atvažiavau iš Lietuvos, aš kaip...
Well, it's a form of Lithuanian hospitality.
Are you married?
Jūs esat vedus? Yes.
How much does your husband earn?
O kiek jūsų vyras uždirba?
Jis uždirba mažiausiai $1,000 mėnesį.
At the very least, $1,000 a month.
Do you have any children in Lithuania?
Yes, a 6-year-old son.
She brought a letter with her confirming she had won the 3-day holiday as a bonus.
Why did you bring this letter if you don't know what it says and you don't know why you were given it?
I was told that I may be questioned.
Why were you told you might be questioned here?
I don't know. I was told to keep this together with my ticket.
Why were you told to keep this letter?
But kodėl jum buvo pasakyta šitą laišką laikyti? I don't know. He gave it to me.
Did your manager give you a reason why he was giving you this letter?
I don't know. He gave it to me and he said, keep it with you.
Okay, I am going to speak to my boss about what's been said here, okay? We may need to ask you some more questions. Are you okay at the moment?
No.
In Lithuania, she works for a company selling cosmetics and perfumes. She's an agent who then sells on to other agents. When I asked her which company paid for her trip, she said Baltic Clipper, which is who wrote this letter saying that she's got it as part of a productivity bonus, all spelt wrong. The quality of the letter isn't very good, as you can see.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's obvious to us what it is, but one would imagine that she's going to ask.
She's what, 21?
29.
29, I beg your pardon. So, I mean, what's her employment history? How long has she been working for this company?
I didn't ask how long she's been working for the cosmetics company.
I mean,
She said she worked over the summer. She worked very hard over the summer and had no holiday. And that's why she thinks she was given this.
I think we need a few more questions. The way... Start off with her employment history, right? I mean, find out what jobs that she's done, what her employment history is since she left school or college or whatever. And leading up to, who exactly does she work for? How long has she worked for them? What is the connection between Baltic Clipper, the travel agency, who have apparently issued this letter, and Baltic Clipper, the cosmetics company, whatever the story there is? So, you see what I'm getting at? An employment history for her, how does the husband fit into the picture, and what's the full story behind how this this gift, this trip to the UK came to be organised? And, you know, why is there nobody here to meet her? Have we had any calls? I mean, have we tried?
We haven't, no, I've had no contact from sponsors.
We tried a sponsor?
I haven't put a slip down because she said that no one at all in the UK know her.
Well, do it anyway. Let's see what, see if anything happens.
Ask her
No
some
addresses,
more
no telephone numbers?
No, she's just got the hotel address.
You don't bring wine and food and all the rest of it for your own use.
Lithuanian hospitality for people she
For
met.
who?
People she met in the hotel. Well,
okay.
I'll ask her some more questions.
Yeah, do that.
And come back to you.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. Right. Was she given this trip for a special reason at all?
Jay, I am David Tabroga at Victi Anglia. Was it her now? Well, it's because I didn't have any holidays in the summer.
Who paid for the trip?
Well, Kazush Biliata,
Baltic Clipper.
Baltic something. Oh, Baltic Clipper.
Has anyone been sent to the UK before by Baltic Clipper?
Aranxio, Kasnosi Anglia buvo pasiūstas per Baltic Clipper.
Aš anksčiau girdėjau, kad siųsdavai užsienį. Anksčiau prieš praeitą vasarą siųsdavai.
I have heard that.
Ne į Angliją, į Paryžių vieną kartą buvo kelionė, paskui kitą kartą dar kažkur tai, nežinau.
I have heard that last summer there were occasions. I know that one person went to Paris.
Did you choose to come to the UK?
Man sakė, kad gali man tai pasiūlyti. Aš sutikau.
I did not choose. I was offered the trip to England.
What do you want to see in England?
Ką jūs norit pamatyti Anglijoje?
Aš pirmą aplankysiu muziejų, galeriją, paskui paklausiu, ko dar galima.
Well, first of all, I would like to visit the museums and galleries, and then I will make inquiries and see what people suggest to me.
Can you name any actual sites that you want to see?
Aš sakau, aš į vietą galvoju atvažiuoti ir galėčiau vietą susirasti, paklausti, ką galima pamatyti.
Well, I thought I would come here and make inquiries on the spot as to what I should. If I go to a museum, perhaps they will advise me as to what else I should see.
Why did the company send you on a holiday to London rather than somewhere else?
Man sakau tas pats, kurie duotų. Man sakė, vadinki Londoną 3 dienom, aš sutikau, aš vis tiek nebuvau niekur.
I don't know. I was offered this trip for 3 days.
Aš tai Paryžių norėčiau pamatyti, bet
And I agreed. Actually, I would like to see Paris, but I was offered London.
What do you think?
She's coming for a 3-day visit to somewhere she's never been before. It's her first time outside Lithuania.
Yeah.
In a normal course of events, one would imagine she'd find out something about where you're coming to. Even at 2 weeks' notice, one would have an idea of the sites that you wanted to see. Names, Nelson's Column, Trafalgar Square, Big Ben, that sort of thing. She knows absolutely nothing about this. She's only been in the job 2 years and she's already given a holiday. It's possible, but it still seems very strange. She knows absolutely no one here. She's left her husband and her child in Lithuania. One would imagine in a normal course of events, she'd try and get a holiday with them, put it to the company, can I have this bonus, but try and, I'll pay for them to come as well, or something like that.
Do you think she's really won this trip as a bonus as a consequence of her employment?
I'm not sure. The bottom line for me is, I'm not satisfied that she's coming to do what she says she's come to do. There are too many I don't knows, and there's too many things which she just hasn't answered. It just doesn't fit. And that's from what she's told me so far. I don't know if you want me to ask more.
Well, are you satisfied that she's a genuine visitor who'd stay for 3 days and then go home again?
No, I'm not.
Neither am I. And I don't believe she'd comply with temporary admission either.
Phone about
yeah, I think we should look to see if there's any space available for her to be detained.
Okay, fine.
And set removal directions on the next available flight back to Lithuania.
Okay. We have given directions for your removal tomorrow at 4:15 back to Lithuania on Lithuanian Airlines. I'm sorry, but that's the decision that we've made. You will be detained overnight and then taken to the flight tomorrow. You understand this decision? Okay? You have anything to say? No. Okay.
She just says, I don't understand why. She can't understand why she can't stay here for 3 days.
Nearly everybody we see here, and an equally good reason for going straight back home again. I mean, she would have us believe that she's coming here as she's won a prize, if you like, that she's won a bonus as a result of her employment. So we asked some questions to try and verify that, and it all starts to fall apart. You know, she's only been working for the company for 2 years. There's no history of this. I think there was a mention of somebody having gone to Paris. Certainly nobody's come here before. She can't tell us very much about what she does for a living. She can't tell us exactly why she's won this bonus. When we try to inquire as to what her employment history is, it turns out that she's not working in the travel company at all, which is, you know, the implication on the letterhead. She's selling cosmetics. So what's she doing here? You know, the more questions you ask, the less satisfied you become, if you like.
The Lithuanian cosmetics rep was sent over to the Queen's Building to be detained till she could be put on her plane back home.
From January, roast lamb will be coming down in price. And so will warm towels, sleepy dogs, piping hot showers, and cozy toes. Because next year, British Gas will be offering significantly lower prices to millions of homes. British Gas, the home of energy.
What kind of society do you want to be part of? At Britannia, we share our success not with shareholders, but with our members. With a bonus payment shared out this year, next year, the year after, and the year after. This year, we shared out £35 million.
35 million?
And you too can share in Britannia's loyalty bonus. Call 0800 44 3322. Britannia, we are the sharing society.
Not since fluoride toothpaste has there been an advance like Colgate Total. It protects not just against cavities, but also against bacteria that cause plaque, tartar, and gum disease. It's the only toothpaste with an antibacterial shield that protects teeth and gums for 12 hours. Colgate Total, the one with the 12-hour shield.
Powered by the sun, Honda's world-beating solar car is so advanced, it's not available yet. But then a few years ago, the same could have been said about our revolutionary VTEC petrol engine. Technology you can now enjoy in the new Civic VTI.
If you save for a personal pension with Prudential, when you reach retirement age, you could take some of it as a lump sum. So as well as enjoying a safe, regular income, you might even have a little mad money. I'm Peter Davis, head of Prudential, and part of my job is to keep your dreams alive.
Peter Davis, the man from the Pru.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, just down the stairs for your bags.
But we had a fairly busy control just like this. And there were about 2 or 3 IOs, not exactly desk to desk next to each other, but small distance in between. And we do attempt to get through with a little bit of sign language as to what people are doing. And the question went out, you know, are you simultaneously, 3 guys asking the question, are you with a group? And of course the Japanese passengers looked at this and all decided to sort of do a little turn, you know, and it was synchronized beautifully, you know, it was real Olympic stuff.
But the next morning held a surprise for Peter Lothian.
All right. She was detained overnight, and she would have been brought back to stay in the office, to stay in the area next door while she was waiting for her flight. Well, I checked earlier. She was due to go out at 4:15 this afternoon, but I understand that she's actually claimed political asylum and she's been interviewed during this afternoon.
Is that something which happens quite often, people?
Yep. What would have happened, I imagine, is that she would have knocked on the door and made it known that she wished to claim political asylum, and we take it from there.
Once those who claimed asylum from Eastern Europe were welcomed warmly. Today, they're seen as just another group desperate to work here. In 1996, 29,000 people claimed asylum. But at Terminal 3, they're still processing some very old claims.
I think we've got between 10 and 11,000 cases outstanding at Terminal 3 at the moment. 85, 86 are the oldest ones. But the numbers would be small. I mean, there are much larger numbers dating from more recently. You deal with them steadily.
The Home Office have tried hard to reduce this backlog, but every day new refugees arrive. Again, to outwit those who might destroy their documents, certain flights are met.
Can everybody have their passports ready as they come by, please?
You want to see it?
Yes, please, yes. It's 2 of you. Can you just show your passport as you come by, please? Do you have your passport with you, sir? Excuse me?
Granville, your passport.
Have you got your passport?
No.
And it's no longer just the usual suspects, West Africa and the Indian subcontinent. The last few months have seen a new problem area, Turkey, Cyprus. Of the 100 passengers who flew from Turkish Cyprus via Izmir, 5 soon revealed their real motives.
He says he's seeking asylum.
Seeking asylum. Has he got any family in the UK?
Akrabalarınız var mı aynı?
Burada bir kızım var.
Last month,
21'inde.
his wife and his son came to UK as well.
And what did they come to the UK for?
Onlar ne için geldi?
Onlar da iltica için geldi.
Asylum as well. Right, does he or the child, they need a drink or coffee or biscuits, anything like that?
İçmedik çoktan.
Okay, we'll sort it out because it may take some time.
Thank you, thank you.
Birazcık beklenecek. Çilek bir şey
Take a seat.
getirecekler lütfen.
Thanks.
We do have situations where stories of fairly horrendous stories are believable. The other side of the coin, we have what is tantamount to an economic application. These are the 2 extremes. And then you've got the middle range, the grey areas, where it's simply by asking questions in depth, you establish whether or not there's a problem. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Immigration can help you.
Airport officials don't decide whether or not someone is granted asylum, but usually everything depends on one crucial interview. It's about 4 hours since the Turkish Cypriot and his family landed.
Right. I am an immigration officer. Ben göçmen bürosu memuruyum.
Evet.
You've asked for asylum in the United Kingdom, and I will now ask you questions to establish why you need asylum. I'll write down what you tell me, and this record will be passed to officers in the Asylum Directorate of the Home Office who know about what is happening in your country. What is your reason for leaving Cyprus?
Kendi kelimelerinizle bana açıklar mısınız Kıbrıs'tan ayrılmanıza ne neden oldu?
Şimdi biz Cipsiz'de bizi oradaki Türkler şimdi istemiyorlar. Ve bize gece taşı
Because we are gypsies,
taşlarlar bizi. Çocuk çoluğumuzun arkasına düşüyorlar.
Turkish people don't want us.
Hududu var ya, hudud.
They constantly stone us, throw stone to us. And after sending my last son to UK, they stopped me 3 times and detained me and kept asking where I sent them. They told me if I don't tell their whereabouts, they would kill me.
The immigration officer has to talk the interview through with a senior, Inspector Bill Fleming.
Are engaged in other things. It's a passenger, it's a family, who's arrived with his daughter, who has a small baby. Claimed asylum on arrival. I've completed the short procedure interview with him.
Must be quite unpleasant to have bricks thrown at your house.
Yeah.
Does he ever say that he's been injured in any way? Because but they would always stone me.
No, I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't mentioned it, but I could actually ask him if he was actually...
Yeah, I mean, were they particularly bad aimers, or was he just fortunate? Yeah. Perhaps it's covered later on, but is he a particularly wealthy chappie? He says, I came here for holiday 3 or 4 times, and I used to come with a folk dance group. Here's the answer. He hasn't worked for 3 months because it's winter time. And I do recollect earlier on in the record there that he said he couldn't accompany his wife and family because he didn't have the money.
That's right, yeah.
So if he hasn't been working, where did he get the money? That might be worth pursuing to get the complete picture for those considering the application. It's perhaps not strictly relevant to the asylum application, but it might give the background.
Indeed,
It might give the background. Okay, now let's assume that you're going to do that and that you get satisfactory answers to that. What are we going to do with them?
He's got his son who's been brought upstairs. I propose giving him temporary admission to his wife and son, issuing standard acknowledgement letters to him and his daughter.
On occasions, it appears that they may be running from economic problems. So I suppose that's refugee as well, really. If you don't have enough money to feed your family, we can understand that that's something that anybody would fly the world in perilous situation to try to do. But I mean, assessing the refugee aspect is a matter for the Secretary of State. So we really are message boys in this. We interview, we get the facts, we process them and send them up to the division in the Home Office that deals with that.
All the 5 passengers who flew in from Turkish Cyprus had relatives in London and went to stay with them.
As an immigration officer, I've had people with their arms wrapped around my ankles, literally licking my shoes, and that I just find very distasteful. You have people who react abusively. You have, sadly, people who react violently. You get the whole range of reactions and emotions, but the vast majority of people seem to have an inherent respect for authority and will accept the decisions with as much equanimity as they can muster in the circumstances. You are very conscious that you are making decisions which can alter the direction of a person's life.
Right, I've made some inquiries and I believe that you were working here at the Black Orchid when you were here last time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
One of the main aims of immigration policy is to stop illegal working. This Australian had just come in from New York with £95 in his pocket and a past he wanted to hide.
So why did you say you hadn't worked in the UK?
Because I was desperate to come back and see friends.
When did you leave your employment?
I couldn't give you an exact date. It was
the UK?
Before I left to New York. Before I departed from New York a week before.
Why did you leave?
Why did I leave? To be truthful, to go to New York and see a friend of mine which will hopefully going to work.
I've spoken to the Black Orchid and they say that you were dismissed from your work because of stock taking. Is that correct?
Stock taking in what way? Because I know exactly what now.
Well, were you dismissed?
I was dismissed, yes.
What was the reason they gave?
It was a drink I gave for a friend that worked with me, who worked in the bar. For his girlfriend, I gave a free drink.
Okay. I'm going to take a seat over there again for a little while, and I'll come back with the decision that we've made in a few minutes. Do you want a drink or anything? You sure?
So what did he say when you put it to him?
He said, yes, I was desperate to come to the UK to see my friends again. So that's why he lied.
So he's got a one-way ticket?
Yes,
He's
£95.
95 quid?
And he's worked previously illegally in the UK and in Greece. And he was dismissed for stock taking. So I suggest that we refuse him.
Hang on. He said he was desperate to come to the United Kingdom.
Yes,
I mean,
to see some
that's
friends.
pitching it quite strong. I mean, desperate
Well, he's
why?
recently met a young lass who's at college here.
Ah, okay, right. So there's a girlfriend?
Yes.
Have we contacted the girlfriend?
It's the girlfriend's mother that gave us the information. She's not over ecstatic about the relationship.
Well, how old's the girlfriend?
19.
Is she a British citizen?
Yes.
I mean, how long's the relationship with the English girl been going on?
A few weeks.
Just weeks? Yeah. Any other relationships in the background that you know about? Nothing else? Okay, so what do you think?
I think we ought to refuse him under para 43.
I think so too. I mean, he's worked, hasn't he? And he's coming here to do so again, no doubt.
So under para 43 and 320. Okay, Daniel Vitulkas, you've asked for leave to enter the United Kingdom as a visitor for 2 weeks, but I'm not satisfied you are genuinely seeking entry as a visitor for the limited period as stated by you. Furthermore, you have failed to observe the conditions attached to your previous grant of leave to enter in the United Kingdom. I'm therefore refusing you leave to enter the United Kingdom. I have given or proposed to give directions for your removal at 1:35 today. What it means is that because of the fact that you were working here before, when your passport clearly showed that your stamp said employment prohibited, and because you have insufficient funds on you this occasion, you don't have a return ticket to Australia. Your friends have said that you're coming for a few months, you've said that you're coming here for a few weeks. All of that together means that I'm not satisfied that you are a genuine visitor to the United Kingdom. And because I'm not satisfied, that is why you're being refused entry. Now, because you've been refused entry, the immigration rules state that you should be removed on the first available flight. There's various options on where you can be removed to, but the most likely and the most usual is the country from whence you have just come. You've just come from America, so you'll be removed back to America.
Can't go there.
Why is that?
Because I cannot live there. My home is Australia. I can't go to
Yeah,
America.
but you came from America today, so therefore when you're refused, you get removed back to America. If the Americans don't accept you when you arrive back there, then that will be a decision for the Americans. If you'd wished to go to Australia, you could buy your own ticket, but the problem with that is that you don't have enough funds to buy a ticket back to Australia. I'll take you to a room and you can phone the High Commission, consul, any friends that you wish to. And if you've got any questions, then I'll do that. Yeah, I can see if I can arrange for Chris to get to her phone.
I've got to speak to them.
Have you got any questions about your refusal?
I cannot go to America. I can't.
Okay. Well, if you've got any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, you can get a bit cynical, but occasionally you get the real ones, you know. You get people who really would have problems if they were to go back to the countries that they came from. It can be cynical, but they've all got stories to tell. You know, they've all got... There's a background to every single one of the ones that you deal with.
November for regional cleaning, a member of staff for regional cleaning, please contact airport information.
At 7 p.m., the Australian Daniel Vatutskas was escorted onto his flight back to New York.
How long have you been going out with your girlfriend? How long ago did you meet her?
No, Brian. I'm not flipping out.
When did you last see her?
Last few months.
A few months ago. Yeah. She went to Hong Kong, which is where you met. When was that?
Oh, 1 year.
A year ago? I see. When did you last see her?
Sorry?
When did you last meet?
You.